The correct practice of self-compassion. Hi everyone, welcome out to another episode of the Mind Engineer community. Here, Tommy Walker sharing insight and tools to help you with your mind, help you with your life. Right, as I've been sharing lately, is when you learn how to lead yourself, you're able to also make changes inside of you and then be able to impact the life of others, you know, too on the outside. So that's where I'm sharing this. And today I want to talk about the correct practice of self compassion. Hey, Suzanne, nice to see you too. So, what do I mean with the correct practice of self compassion? Self compassion is something that a lot of people are talking more and more, but what I've seen is that it's, in a way, conditional self compassion. What does that mean? If you're feeling negative, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling something that is not accordingly to what you should feel, you start judging, criticizing, or rejecting that part of you. So, when we're talking about self compassion, what I want to bring is that we need to learn how to love and accept ourselves and show compassion, even when things are not going the way that we want, when we're doing something wrong, when we're not being able to change, we're not being able to overcome whatever challenge we're going through. What most people do is they beat themselves up. So they try to show self-compassion, and it's easy when everything is going okay and I think everything is going as expected. But how do you normally treat yourself when things are not going as expected? When something happened that, or you did something, or you said something that you were not supposed to, right? That's when the beating up starts, the judging ourselves, the inner critic kind of gets really loud and starts, bouncing against us, telling us, judging us, rejecting us, criticizing us for what we did or did not do. And in that case, remember that is not self compassion, because self compassion is being loving and accepting towards yourself, compassionate towards yourself, regardless what you're going through. So, what I've seen in personal development, what I've seen in spirituality a lot is this fake positivity that I need to feel, I need to feel happy, I need to feel blessed. I need to feel thankful. I need to feel forgiveness. I need to. And whatever we're telling ourselves that we need to is coming from ego. Remember, we have our true self and then we have a hurting self being more ego. And from ego, when we're telling ourselves that we need to let go, we need to forgive, we need to feel blessed, we need to feel happy, we're controlling the way that we're feeling. So a lot of people ask me, but Tommy, how do I really distinguish between spirit, between inner guidance, between my true self and my false self, my hurting self? And it's seriously, most of the time, it's pretty easy. Because if you want to talk about true self, spirit self, that part of you doesn't want to control. That part of you feels love, compassion, empathy for everything, for you and for others. So we're not being able to feel that whenever we're feeling again that we're trying to control, that we're trying to move away from pain. That has to do with the ego. It has nothing to do with spirit. Spirit is able to tap into compassion, empathy, unconditional love, loving and accepting what is, even when things are not going the way that we expect. Because as I've seen in all these 16 years working on myself and working with thousands of people, most of the times the things that we think are bad for us are actually something good in disguise. So I'm working with a woman that she's going through a very tough moment right now, and she is judging herself for what she's going through. But the truth, she is also discovering parts of her that she didn't know even were there. So she was very into doing on the outside, but she was not going within. I know that many of you people out there listening feel very identified with that, that many times we're in the doing, we're on the external, we fall into people pleasing, we fall into perfectionism, we fall into all those things trying to make others happy, but we don't go within to see where we are not making ourselves happy, or even if we go deeper in knowing who we truly are. So many times life is going to bring you these stops, these down moments in your life so that you can go finally within. Because the truth is, I wouldn't have gone through this process if my life wouldn't have gone to hell many years ago. Because I was all into the doing. And if things would have gone well, I wouldn't have gone within to see who am I not, and who I created to be loved, accepted, recognized on the outside. So I want to bring this again concept of self-compassion. The correct way to be able to feel self-compassion for yourself is, or developing this compassion to yourself, is realizing that whatever is going on, whatever behavior you're having that is not acceptable, supposedly, whatever you're doing or not doing, is a part of you that is trying to protect itself. So I want to invite you to start looking at yourself the same way you would look to your grandkid, granddaughter, grandson. And if you don't have, how you would look to your kids. If you don't have kids, how would you look to your siblings' kids? How would you look to other people's kids? When you look to others, normally we try, not all the time, but it's not easy sometimes, try to to others in a more compassionate way, and more so to kids. If a kid is throwing a tantrum, we might understand that they're, in a way, looking for attention. Or if they're, I've seen kids breaking stuff, screaming, right? And they're looking for attention. So what if we start understanding that we're all kids in grown-up bodies trying to feel loved and accepted? And if we don't start practicing that self-compassion, that love and acceptance of that little kid within us, it's going to make it very difficult to be able to make changes in our life, to be able to be there for others in a more loving way. So we tend to fall into compassion when, things are okay. When maybe I'm feeling a little bit something mad, but okay, yeah, I gotta feel this way. But I try to control myself from feeling negative emotions. So people tend to use self-compassion to stop feeling pain. But seriously, the idea is to be able to really go into there, hugging myself, loving and accepting how I'm feeling, what I'm going through right now, and then what can I learn from this? Because at the end, everything is a lesson that helps us, and listen to this, to stretch our heart muscle, to be more loving and compassionate towards ourselves and to others. So I guarantee if you practice more this, being more loving and accepting towards yourself, more compassionate towards yourself, you'll start feeling different and then being able to start seeing changes on the outside. But we got to practice this. It could be, several weeks, maybe months till you start seeing changes. It depends how far into the dark hole you're in that it might take you to get out of there. But I've seen it for myself that I've been in very dark places in my life, and I've seen a lot of this working with other people out there. So if this has resonated, if you want to practice more self-compassion, if you want to understand more how the mind works and how to start making changes, write the word free underneath on social media, follow me on YouTube, and I'll share more insight and tools to help you start making changes in your life. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know what you think. Thank you very much and